just want to start off by giving a huge welcome back to our girl Tamara, who wasn't feeling well yesterday.
I know.
It just hit you.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
And it's weird because every single year around this time,
you get the
I always get bronchitis. So if you've been like watching the show from the beginning, around this time, I'm always out. I don't know why, but I feel better, and I'm here.
And you're back.
And I'm back.
Not the same without you.
Yeah,
of course. Well, we're excited to have you back. And
Thank
speaking of exciting, Lonnie, I know that this is a really special day for you. Tell us all about it.
Yes, Jeannie.
And what you're wearing, because I'm all about the fashion.
It's beautiful.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, in honor of Black History Month, we're taking the reel on the road all month long to visit some of the nation's most thriving HBCUs, historically Black colleges and universities. Last week, we were in Washington, D.C. at Howard University, and this week, I am so excited to announce that we are live at my alma mater, Prairie View A&M University in Prairie View, Texas.
This
so
is
awesome.
really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I was just trying to find a way to wear, you know, the school spirit. So this is like a little scarf. And going to Prairie View was such an amazing experience. I got my electrical engineering degree there.
Wow.
I was a member of the Prairie View Marching Storm Band.
What instrument?
I played mellophone. It was high stepping. I was also a member. I am still a member of Delta Sigma Theta. More importantly, I am a proud Panther. In fact, our real ambassador, Danya, is live at Prairie View A&M University right now with some of the Panthers. PV, who you rooting for?
Look how excited they are.
Oh, that is amazing. Every block. Look at them.
So cute.
Oh my God.
That's my
They're so
school.
excited.
Okay. They got a lot of energy. Panthers, all I want to know is who's ready for some live girl chat?
Okay, first up, this is a good one. Esquire magazine is facing a lot of backlash following the release of their latest issue, which has what many believe to be a very offensive and tone-deaf cover. The cover in question features a 17-year-old white male with the title, An American Boy, What It's Like to Grow Up White, Middle Class, and Male in the Era of Social Media School Shootings, Toxic Masculinity, Me Too, and a Divided Country. Social media exploded with outrage over the cover for it not only being released during Black History Month, but for it ignoring the more marginalized groups of young men who aren't represented as much in the media. One person who spoke out was Zara Rahim, who tweeted, "Imagine this same American boy headline with someone who looked like Trayvon talking about what it's like to have your mother sit you down to tell you how to stay alive in your own city during Black History Month. Just imagine. Shame on you, Esquire." The writer of the article, Jennifer Percy, did speak to CBS News to say she did not approve the cover or the presentation, which she feels is misleading to the content of the article she wrote. So, ladies, what do you think of everyone on social media reading this cover, you know, literally reading it to Phil?
Well, first of all, just to say, it's the March issue, but because it's the March issue, you know, to promote it, they put it out in February. So,
Which is something they always do. They always release the
All
cover
magazines.
the month before it's released. So it's actually the March issue, yeah.
Yeah, so I just want to say that.
Yeah. I personally think Esquire knew exactly what they were doing.
Really?
Yes, I do. I think this is a perfect example of shock journalism. It's when they put out something that's going to cause controversy, to get people to look at, you know, the magazine. In fact, magazine sales are down. So they're trying to get people's attention by doing this. This is the first cover of a cover series. They're actually going to do, well, they basically want to highlight youth growing up in a divided America. So this is the first cover. They knew it was going to be controversial, especially putting it out during, you know, Black History Month. They're also going to do an LGBTQ cover. They're going to do a female cover, and they're also going to do what it feels like to be Black.
I don't know if it's going to be a cover. I know it's a series, but I think they chose this as a cover. It hasn't been established if those other ones are going to be covers.
But it is a series.
Yeah.
But it is a cover. So when I read cover series, that's what I thought. I mean, I don't know. But I think they're doing this on purpose
Right.
because
Almost
they
the-
want to get our eyeballs on
Yeah.
that.
Because here we are talking about it.
Because obviously the title is misleading, and obviously the timing is completely wrong.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, if that was their marketing strategy, I think it was a stupid one because then it makes Esquire look like they ain't woke to what America's really dealing with right now.
Yeah, and we
to
don't need
lead with
any
that.
more division.
We really don't.
And the problem is, if you read the article, it's based on a 17-year-old Caucasian boy and what his trials and tribulations
In
are
Wisconsin.
in Wisconsin, which are centered around girls and how hard it is for him to express his political beliefs. And I'm just thinking, like, if I'm real, if you ain't white, male, or straight, any further that you stray from that, you are literally, to some people, just having a hard time existing in your
Yeah.
skin.
Wow.
Out there.
Yeah.
So, if you lead with America today, when you see the word America, especially for me in media, I think immediately, oh, tell me something, how are we gonna fix this? That's like the first thing I go to. Because I don't feel super proud right now with what we're doing to help the current issues that we have. So when I see this white male and what he expresses as his problems in the article, I think you missed the mark, and that is completely Esquire's
I
fault.
completely agree. I think that the cover completely missed the mark.
Yeah.
But if you read the article, I actually think it's very interesting. I always say G.I. Joe said knowing is half the battle. And I think if you actually, don't make that face. Sonya looked at me like, what? But I do believe that knowledge is power and that if you know what's happening in middle America, in Wisconsin, with a 17-year-old boy who considers himself conservative, you actually find out, oh, wow, these are his thoughts. This is what he's thinking. He doesn't know about Me Too, which I thought was shocking because I'm like, that's all we hear about on television. He doesn't know anything about it. He's not knowledgeable about women's rights. My issue is if we find out that people aren't woke, how do we change it? We change it by acknowledging that they exist. And I think that that's the important part that should have more so been targeted. That, listen, there is a group of people out here that live this way, that think this way. Now, how do we educate it? How do we educate them and how do we fix it?
And
But how you... I'm
cover's
not
wrong.
surprised. No, I read the article. I'm not surprised. I mean, if you live in an all-white town with no type of diversity, you're going to feel this way. So I'm not surprised by that. What I'm surprised is if we want to make this a teachable moment, make it a series and put the whole series in one magazine and show the LGBT side, show the black side, show the female side, show whatever, and make it all inclusive. This is why I have a subscription to Essence Magazine. All right? The magazine for today's black woman.
Exactly. I'm curious to know what the people down in Prairie View are saying. So, Danya, what are our youth of America saying?
Okay, I have Hannah here, and Hannah's got something to say.
Hello, everyone. My name is Hannah Brown. I am a freshman mass communications major, theater minor. And I never want to diminish anybody's experience, but I feel like right now in 2018 in America as African Americans, we have a different kind of fight we're fighting right now. So I feel as though instead of thinking of all of the negatives and the irony of this magazine, we should focus on the many magazines that are actually celebrating our culture right now in February and just let it be what it is.
Great perspective.
That's a great perspective. As a matter of fact, there were some people that actually call themselves fixing the magazine cover, and there was one that was mocked up, and this was the one that was featuring the black kid from Spider-Man, Spidey in the Universe, and it says, an all-American boy, what it's like to grow up of color, middle class, and made in the era of Black Lives Matter, alt-right, and a divided country. That's like, you know... And I just want to say, we don't, like, you know, my fellow PV alum student said, we don't want to diminish somebody.
Yeah.
But the point is that when you lead with this, come on, y'all, let's be serious.
That's what it is. Leading
It's
with
leading
that.
with it
Leading
on
with
the
that.
cover.
That's what it is, yes.
That's what everybody
I
has
don't
an
wanna hear
issue
that.
with. We understand that y'all might feel afraid, because that's really where racism is rooted in. It's rooted in fear. It's rooted in the fear of change. You got to understand, we all deserve to be here in this country.
Exactly.
Amen, Lonnie.
And
Well,
if you... Go.
Someone who found himself in the middle of a recent controversy is comedian Aziz Ansari. Aziz did a pop-up show this past Monday in New York and for the first time addressed the sexual misconduct allegations that were leveled against him last year, an incident many called a first date gone wrong. While Aziz admitted that there were times he felt humiliated and embarrassed, he said that he was able to use it as a learning experience. Aziz also said that he hopes the incident would change people's outlook on dating, adding that he hopes men will be more thoughtful, aware, and willing to go the extra mile to make sure someone else is comfortable when on a date.
I like that.
Me too. So, ladies, do you think more people should be taking Aziz's approach when it comes to dating nowadays?
I think they shouldn't just take it to dating. This is the mindset in life, period.
Okay,
You're
yeah.
supposed to be human. Let's respect each other's needs and area and comfort levels. But I do have to say, being in the dating world, and tell me if you agree, Lonnie, but I noticed ever since Me Too and ever since this conversation of being consensual, I do notice men moving a little differently. Like back then, when I dated before I was married, guys were very open to making the first move. They felt very, easy to just like glide their hand over around your waist when they want to feel like they want to let you know they like you. And now I notice questions from men, this is grown men that I'm dating, where they take a beat with that. And I think that's amazing. One of my favorite date ever was I went out with this guy and we had an amazing long night eating and then dancing and then went back to his place at like 2 a.m. Y'all, we kicked it till maybe 8:30 in the morning.
Whoa, that is a long date.
Just talking
Yeah.
and hanging out and being intimate here. And that was my favorite date I'll never forget.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's so dope.
That's so dope.
But I love what you just said right now. What exactly? What you just said right now was, what did you do for all those hours? You talked.
Yeah.
Communication
Yes.
is so important.
Yeah.
Totally.
And it goes both ways. I think sometimes we hear stories of people leaving dates. We even did a story about it where one person's perspective was completely
different.
They're like, I had a great time, it was awesome. And the other person is like, it was god awful. What do you think?
I don't want to, how do I want to say this? Sex is important to me. And I don't want women to feel that you should be ashamed. And I'm not saying this about you,
of
I'm
course,
saying
I know
in
what you're
general. Because if you want to have sex, be responsible and have sex. Don't think that if you meet a guy and you go out on a date and you want to, have sex then. Don't feel like, but be in charge of your emotions and be real with what's happening and communicate.
Yes. If
And
someone's
be safe.
doing something
Yes.
to you that
And
you
be
don't
safe.
like one
Right.
person may have been texting and been like, like this is such a corny example, but you know the movie Along Came Polly,
Yeah.
where he says, just smack her on the butt. Girls like to get spanked.
Yeah.
Right? And then
right.
Ben Stiller does it to Jennifer Aniston's character, and she's like, whoa, I didn't. Okay, you have to have a conversation. Hey, do you like this? Are you into this?
Right.
Is it okay if I do this?
Right.
Yes.
And then guess what? Even if they don't ask and they do it, it's okay to be like, nah, fam, I'm not into that. Don't
Right.
do that.
Right.
You gotta speak
Right.
up.
That's
you have to
something.
communicate.
And on another level, I want to say with that, you can have the permission to do whatever it is you allow, but at the
Right.
same time, just because I go home with you doesn't mean I just want to do
Exactly.
that.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
remove that expectation.
I do like how Aziz waited for about a year to take time and reflect before he came out there. So that just let me know that he really realized, okay, wait a minute, I did something wrong and I want to fix it. And I think that's a great example for men out there. And that's the reason why his friend, even in the article, he was like, whoa, now when I go on dates, I look at it completely different. His main focus is to make sure that everyone on the date is comfortable.
Yes.
And that was the
And I
whole
appreciate
purpose.
that.
Yeah.
When you really think about it, that was the whole purpose of the Me Too movement. It wasn't
Yeah.
to make people feel bad or
Yeah,
Shame you for being physical.
It was really to improve us all in the way we treat
Yeah.
each other
Yeah.
and the way we act when we are, dating and in marriage and having relationships. People take it to the extreme to try to say it's a witch hunt, is all that. No. This is the perfect example
Yep.
of why it was important for women and men to speak up about what's been happening.
up.
Speak up.
He
and
used it as a
learn
learning
from it.
experience.
Yes,
I
and
love
most
that.
importantly, too, I think for all my sisters out there, remember that you have a voice. And just because he asks you out or takes you out for dinner or pays for your dinner doesn't mean that you owe anything. You control what you're comfortable to do.